Good morning, class. Just want to let you know, give you a quick note that TB4 has been graded, and obviously your quizzes they kind of grade themselves. But let me talk a little bit about the discussion board that's coming up this week, because there's a lot of different questions and a lot of different parts of the questions. I want to make sure that you answer them as thoroughly as possible to get as much credit as possible. But the first one has to do with the occasion and the purpose of First and Second Thessalonians. It's important that you give the occasion and the purpose for each, for First Thessalonians and Second Thessalonians. Don't try to lump them all together because there are some different parts to each one of them. Of course, answer the rest of the parts of the question. And then the second one really kind of has to do with the various interactions that Paul had with the church in Corinth, and really that question centers on a couple letters that we know that he wrote that we don't have. How does that all fit together with First and Second Corinthians and the visits that he made, and those types of things? So that's a matter of just kind of lining that out, and that's all there in the reading. So you make sure that you answer that one as thoroughly as possible, and then also the theories concerning who the opponents were that Paul faced in Corinth. And then the third question has to do with the purpose of First Corinthians, and then part of it also is the purpose of Second Corinthians. And just want to make sure you realize that, again, give me both the purposes for First and the purposes for Second Corinthians, because they are different in many respects. Make sure that you answer the issue of literary plan for each, meaning, kind of what does Paul address? How does he go about addressing it? It's fairly straightforward. It's right there in the reading. And make sure you address the issue of, Second Corinthians being possibly a composite letter, meaning it could be a couple of letters combined. And again, that's kind of lined out for you in the reading, but make sure you address that as thoroughly as possible. Again, number 4 has to do with the book of Romans. Again, occasion, purpose of Romans. How did the church come into existence? What role did Paul play in establishing that church, if any? And the makeup of that church. Pay close attention to the purposes of Romans, and make sure you write as fully as possible about the book of Romans if you choose that particular question. And then the last one has to do with defining terms, 3 specific terms: righteousness, faith, and justification, and how Paul used those in the book of Romans. Now make sure you look very carefully at those definitions. You don't want to just make them up yourselves. There are clear explanations of what they mean in the textbook, and so make sure that you use that along with any other sources that you might want to include. Again, I want to reiterate how important it is that when you reply and when you write your posts, that you use footnotes only. I don't want to see parenthetical notes and then a bibliography at the bottom. Don't need any bibliography. If you just simply cite your sources, whatever they might be, in a footnote, then I'm going to know exactly where those came from. So just make sure you try to follow that. And look to the writing manual. It has some tremendous examples of how you can go about footnoting your sources. So straightforward, and I would suggest that it'd be very helpful just to start doing that now, because that's going to be what you'll need for your paper coming up in a couple of weeks. And I certainly hope that you started your research on the paper, because it would be very difficult to do the paper in 1 week and get it done on time and get it done well. So make sure you answer every aspect of the instructions for that paper. So, well, you guys, you're plugging away, doing some good work. I can see, a lot of improvement. I do think that you need to be very careful in how you manage your time throughout the week, especially when you have the weeks of quizzes. I would suggest that you do your replies on Friday or Saturday, so that then you can focus all of your attention Sunday on the quiz, and giving yourself a better chance to do better, to get the best grade possible. I know the quizzes sometimes are difficult and the wordings may be a little bit odd, but all the materials right there in the book. It's an open book test, so if you know that material well, you'll be able to work your way through it. So that would be my strategy, and I'd really do that throughout the week. I would not wait till the last minute on Thursday night to try to start writing your threads, your posts, and then I wouldn't wait till Sunday to do the replies. You have a couple of days to work with, and even if you wanted to do one on Friday and one on Saturday, or one on Saturday and one on Sunday, that might just ease the burden a little bit of having to cram to get everything done by the deadline that we have, and we'll make sure that you stick by those deadlines. That's very important. Anyway, if you need any help, you have any questions, make sure you get a hold of me. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you guys out. I want to see you guys succeed. I want to see you guys do really well. And so if I can help you in any way, just let me know, okay? All right, so you guys enjoy the hot weather. It's been hot here, and enjoy the rest of this week.